Hello, everyone. I'm Edith Wolek. I'm a publisher of Courage Magazine Global, and I have an amazing guest with me today, Ronnie Loaiza, life coach. Hello, Ronnie.
Hi, Edith, and hello, everybody watching this.
Welcome, welcome. Let me quickly introduce Ronnie. Ronnie Loaiza, life coach. She is a habits and celebrative accountability, and more specifically, a certified habits coach, a habit and feel good accountability coach. Ronnie helps people create long term, if not lifetime, habits in eating, exercise, self care, daily work, and productivity. So,
Thank you,
Ronnie.
Edith. And it's funny because I know we changed that because I've been evolving as a lot of us have. We're all evolving all the time. But I started off as just, okay, like a general life coach. I'm a certified professional life coach. And as I've been evolving, a Fab After 50 women's wellness coach, a fitness coach, because I'm also a certified personal trainer. As I've been evolving in the past 2 years, I really saw the common thread of, and you've known me for years, the common thread of what's helped my clients no matter what. And it really can be from, do I really get a divorce? I've been thinking about it for 20 years. Or how do I save my marriage? How do I improve my relationship with my partner? How do I become a better parent? How do I improve my love life? How do I start dating? My career. I've really helped a lot. I was just talking to someone before this of how, wow, I didn't realize how many men and women past 50 and 60 I've helped in career transition. And so, but what do habits have to do with it? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm really excited. The common thread has been your habits are what drive your day and your habitual way of thinking. Your default programming, your habitual way of thinking is how you react. And so it's your behavior. And so in my title, I just laugh. I decided to be, since I am a certified habit coach, and that's a real thing, you have to go back and you have to study, it's ICF accredited. I'm a habit and feel good accountability coach. And I'd love to delve into that to explain what that is.
Oh, fabulous. Habits of feel good. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so we'll work backwards. The feel good part is the feel good accountability. And the thing is, I'm really good at, and that's what I started noticing, at holding my clients accountable. But before that turns anybody off, holding them accountable is not just saying, okay, I need an accountability coach or an accountability partner. Did you do it? Yes. And then people hide or they ghost you. Or I've just spoken to so many people who have tried to get an accountability partner or accountability pod, and then people fall off. And that's because they feel pressured, they feel pushed, and if they don't do it, well, so my accountability is really a synonym for celebrate. You share, because you're not always going to be with a coach and you're not always going to have an accountability partner or somebody to call you out on something. You have yourself. And that's where we struggle and we want to be held accountable, but then we don't. All the alarms and hacks and reminders, and we still don't. So, that's in productivity, time management, eating, whatever it is. So, in sharing something, and they start with me, they share, done. It can be as quick as that. Done on Voxer, or yay, or did it. I have clients who just write paragraphs in there. I have clients who share a little bit more or describe something or how they felt afterward. But for the most part, they just go, did it, done, yay. That's it. And I ask them to say it out loud, but at least that physical thing of having to go on and not having to, they get in the habit of sharing with me. When they go on and share and say it out loud, I ask them to say it out loud. Because when you say something out loud, mine's yay, no matter what I do, yay. That came from an emoji. Your brain hears it. And when your brain hears it, it's a computer going, noted. It's data, it's input, noted, got it, capable, competent. You're proving to yourself and you're giving your brain proof and evidence that you can do it. So that's why I call it celebrative, but I'm changing it to just feel good because it feels good to be held accountable. Because by yourself, for the rest of your life, you can hold yourself accountable. And instead of just being accountable, you're celebrating yourself. You're validating yourself. Let's say you really hate working out because yeah, you hate picking up a dumbbell. I had a lady who's like, Ronnie, I just don't, oh, and she's tried every challenge, the exercise challenges for 3 weeks and all that. She's like, I
We
don't like it.
understand them.
So what do you like about it? Does it hurt? We went through all the physical stuff. It's like, no, I don't know. It's a brain thing. So I'm like, okay, let's pick on something you already do. What do you like to do? We found out she loves music. So put on some jams, 1 minute or one muscle or one exercise. Let's just say biceps. Start from there. Don't do more. And as you're picking up the dumbbell, you can say whatever you want to say. She's like, I hate it. I'm like, I hate it. And I'm about to do this. Not but, or I hate it and I'm doing this. And she would just start like laughing because she shared with me, I would pick up my dumbbells. It's like, I hate this and I'm doing it. And then she would do it. It kind of neutralizes it. It's like, it's not that bad. Instead of saying, I hate this, but I'm doing it anyway, or I hate this, but I can do it. It's like, no, forget but. It's and I'm doing it. You're not lying to yourself. You say you hate it, say you hate it, and you're doing it. And your brain starts programming. After a while, she didn't hate it anymore. And she would put on the music she liked, and she only did one muscle a day. That's it. Now she's working out, and she's been working out, I think, since September consistently. She's not a gym rat. She's not like, oh, really going out every day, but she gets at least 10 to 20 minutes of strength training, which she needed. And she's doing some cardio and she's walking now. She couldn't walk before because her back hurt. Now her back doesn't hurt because she started strength training. So that's what I mean by celebration. And there are all other kinds of celebration, like morning routines people want to get into for their productivity, for their marketing. This one lady wasn't marketing at all. And we got her into one tiny habit that set the rest of the day. And she just goes on there and goes, yay. And since doing that, she wanted to brag about it. Our last session, she's like, okay, so I got up and I had my alarm clock way across the room and I went and I opened the window so she let the sunlight in. And then she went ahead and did her morning ritual. And then she sat down for her office hours, which she couldn't do. She hadn't done that. She had never done that. And she wanted to get her business going. But just the Google Calendar telling her accountability pod wasn't working. I told her, if you only just do the thing where you open, because she used to hit the snooze on the phone, just
Yeah,
get up. Once you're up, go brush your teeth and say yay. She did it every morning, and that got her not to go back to bed. And even if she didn't work that day, I'm like, just do that much.
you get up.
But every day she was up already, so she started doing it. For years, she wanted to start this business. In just 6 weeks of our coaching, of just that one, that's all I want you to do is just get up and have the phone way away and let that sun hit your eyeballs because it sets your circadian rhythm. Just that one habit connected already. Like you can't pee before you do it. So she wouldn't go back to bed. That got her to start emailing people and contacting people and going on social media without an agenda, just to look at other people in her field. And so she started getting ideas and she attended one thing. She never attended one of these things. She started liking and commenting and engaging for real, authentically. And so she got a coffee date with somebody. And then she started getting people liking her stuff. And then she started posting on social media. And she's already got 5 new bids, 2 new clients. And this is in 6 weeks. And this had been years without starting the business at all. So there wasn't like a business launch, how to launch your business hack or none of that, because most people start with like the big plans, but they don't just start with what's the real problem? What's the initial problem? With her, I'm not saying this is with everybody, it was that she didn't know where to start. So let's just start with you sitting down for the computer and start connecting. That's it. That's all. But that was for her. That's tailored for her. I'm not saying that's everybody's answer. That was it for her. It's just starting to put out there, hey guys, I'm doing this. And now she's doing it. She doesn't know sales strategy. She doesn't know any of that. And she's already got 5 bids from people that looked at her work. So for confidentiality, I'm not telling you what she does. But so see what I mean? It's in other people. Like I have a gentleman who wanted to write, but he didn't know how to start. Just one little habit a day. Well, in coaching, we were like, don't write for somebody. Explain it to yourself first. Just explain it to yourself. What is it you're trying to explain? His whole subject or thesis? He's like, yeah, you're right. And now he's writing. But the one habit of dictate a little bit because he had some problems with writing. One habit of just say something, walk away. Say something, walk away. So he started narrating and now he's writing. But it took a little while because it was the habit, it was the momentum, and then him saying, yes, I did this. And it was hooked to something he already did. And that's what I call habit chaining. So I'm sorry, I started backwards with the celebrating, because when you celebrate yourself, whether it's journaling or all of that, the quick reward is what makes us go, okay, I'm capable. Because when you think of habits, it's always about the long-term reward, but it's like we're never going to get there. So your motivation, what people always go for, you've heard this, is the instant reward. Okay, so give your celebration as your instant reward. At least it's validation, if nothing else. Does that make sense to you? I know it's a little vague.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. But what I'm imagining is like the power of a habit. It's
Yeah.
so powerful because if it's repeated and if you have somebody like yourself that is there for you to support you and pick you up if you don't like it, if you feel like not doing something, you are there for them. So it's powerful, powerful tool to have it and get used to it. And once you build up, tell me, I think we've spoken to when we met last time about building habits. Tell us little bit about like building habit upon habit.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's I call it habit chaining because I like to link things. Some people call it habit
Mhm.
stacking. Dr.
Okay.
Fogg, it's not new. It's since Pavlovian days. So the habit stacking, I like chaining. You link it to something you already do.
Yeah.
So before go ahead and linking that habit to something you already do,
Mhm.
habits have external motivation or internal motivation. And that's what we hear all the time. I'm lacking motivation. I'm just not motivated. It's like, well, do you have a motive? This is a play on words, but do you have a motive? What's your why? Well, yeah, this is my motive. This is why I want this. And sometimes they find out that's not really what I want. So they have to find out what they really want. And so what's your motive? There you go. You have motivation. But that's just a play on word. Most people look at their goals and they start too big, or they have external motivators like a post-it or something out there, an external motivation, a goal. And that's different from your work. If you have to work on a project or you have to do something for the boss or for your job, that's really, you can say, well, that's my motivation. Not really. That's your requirement. That is your obligation. That's your responsibility. So what you need to have for you to be motivated is intrinsic, is inherent, it's innate, it's within you. So you start with, whether it's work or time, managing your time or not procrastinating, is pick one thing, one tiny step toward the bigger step, the bigger to-dos. Pick one thing that's doable, easy, minimal effort. So the first thing is pick the habit, that one step, that one action step, and make it doable. Make it easy. What are you realistically going to do?
Yeah.
Not what everybody else says. These are great hacks. This is a great diet. This is a great challenge. This is whatever. Those challenges are great, but they're not sustainable and they're not lifelong. What will you do that will just become you? And it's doable no matter what. And then set yourself up with the right environment, a supportive environment. Am I in the right environment to do that one little step? We always go back to working out, but am I in the right environment? Is the gym too far away? Do I just not feel like driving to the gym? What can I do to be able to work out at home? Do I like videos? Make it easy. And is my environment supportive? Like, do I like my office as it is? Do I need to declutter? Even if it's a little messy, do I like it how I want it? Whatever the environment is, at work, are you in the right environment to set up your one tiny habit?
Mm.
Whether it's self-care, whatever it is, your job, your relationship, for example. You might wonder, well, how do I set up a habit for a good relationship, good rapport? An example, a guy who just kept fighting with his wife, loves his wife, she loves him, but they were always at each other. And so he reacted too quickly. There's no blame. There's no right or wrong in here. What I'm saying is, what one tiny habit could he do to communicate better and not set her off? Okay. his one habit he could do, because it's hard to think, stop, take a beat, walk away. It's hard to think that the moment you react. So how can you stop that reaction? When that happens, he got in the habit of grabbing her hand. It's hard to yell at somebody when you're holding their hand. And at first you're like, what? And he would hold her hand. So I'm just going to think for a second. Well, no, don't go away from me. He's like, no, I just got to breathe, babe. I love you. I'll be right back. And then it started evolving into he would grab her hand gently and they would start talking. It's hard to yell at somebody. And this is just their case, but it worked for them. It's hard to yell at somebody if you're lovingly holding their hand or hugging them, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah.
It worked for them, so they would talk better and more calmly. That might not work for everybody. I mean, somebody might go, what are you doing? And just keep yelling. But you find what works for you. For other people, it's like literally you want to answer something, or you want to answer snarky, or you want to say, well, why didn't you do this? And you tell yourself, take a beat, and then you think about it. And that might work for some people. For some people, it doesn't. It has to be something physical. Know what I mean? So we find what's doable and in the right environment. His environment was his wife was willing to calm down too when he would take her hand. It was like it became their physical cue. She never knew this, by the way.
No.
They weren't like in couples therapy or coaching. He was just with me. So set up the right environment. Get rid of the bad stuff in the cupboard. We've heard that. Keep what you're realistically going to eat and set yourself up with the healthy foods you say you're going to eat. That's the right environment. Set yourself up for good sleep habits, the right environment so that you'll succeed. Not hacks, that's different. So in your habit chaining, for example, I'll use another example. You pick something you already do. I have a client who brushes his teeth every morning, right? His routine, I forget what it was, but it was something like he would check his email and then he would make some coffee. And I was just joking because we're that close. I'm like, where's the brushing your teeth in this part? Oh, I don't know. I'm like, how could you not know? So you had to think about it. He would brush his teeth after the coffee. I'm like, we could tease each other. I'm like, ew, I would have to brush my teeth first thing, but like, you do you. So he's like, yeah, okay. I'm like, well, what do you normally do? What do you want to do that's doable? Because I want to get up and be productive. I'm like, what does that mean? Be detailed. So we set up one thing, whatever productive is for him that day, set that one accomplishment, not intention. Go ahead and look at your calendar back down from 9 p.m. What's the one main thing you will have wanted to accomplish? If nothing else, forget the little to-dos. What main thing would you want to have accomplished by tonight? So he would get up, go turn on the coffee, write down on a big 8x11, the normal paper, and put it up. Not a Post-it, a big paper, the one thing he accomplished today. It was first thing in the morning. Then he would go drink his coffee and brush his teeth and get on with whatever he had to do with his intention, his accomplishment, and all his to-dos. It became such a chain of events, like set the coffee, the paper was right there by the coffee maker. He would write it down, go tape it up by his computer, do his thing, and then start, because the thing's right in front of his face with his accomplishment. That worked for him. The paper, the accomplishment, was attached to turning on the coffee maker. Know what I mean? So you change something you're already going to do. I use myself as an example. Way back in March of 2020, everything shut down. And I was like, oh, I can't go to the gym. So every morning I had read about the guy with the tiny habits. I don't know if you've heard of him, who decided to do a push-up a day. That's it. He did a push-up a day. That's it. If you feel like doing more, great, but that's not your goal. Your thing is one push-up a day. So he started doing a push-up a day. If he felt like it too, but it wasn't like he was pressured to do it. So I'm like, I'm a badass. I can do 20 push-ups. I thought that was good on my toes and on my hands. But then I started building. I made mine. I'm like, I can go to 25. I can go to 30. I got up to 80. Edith, I got up to, and I'm not exaggerating. 100 push-ups a day. And I did that for 2.5 years. And then I topped it by, I'm going to do something because I don't do cardio much. I started doing 60 jump squats no matter what, and 100 jumping jacks or mountain climb or something like that. To this day, I finally stopped the push-ups because of me. I decided 40 is good every morning because of my wrists and my elbows. I'm like, I don't need to. 40 is good to prove it to myself and to keep in good shape. So now I do 40 push-ups every morning and I do more calisthenics. And I decided that. But I was up to 100 a day and I could go on more if I really wanted to. But I decided to do that. And now it's like weird if I don't. I feel weird. It's part of my identity because I chained it to brushing my teeth. I
Mm.
get up, I pray, I do my calisthenics, I brush my teeth, I get on with life. Feed the cat, check my emails. It's all going to still be there. It's just part of my, it was a habit. I felt good. It's just part of who I am. It's not a chore. So that's what I mean by habit chaining. Chain it to something you already do.
Mm. That's fantastic. And also seeing yourself to accomplished that goal, whatever the goal you see or you set yourself, seeing that goal already accomplished, I think it's going to give people motivation of I yeah of completing it, or at least trying to do that habit every day, and yeah,
And
Passive.
that's why I say a tiny doable action. If
Yeah.
it's even smaller than that, pick it smaller. And people at first think, well, that's not much. Yes, it is. It builds because what you want to do instead of well, I'm trying to exercise. Don't try to exercise. Do one thing. If it's getting up and stretching for a week, for 2 weeks, if it's getting up and stretching, it becomes a tiny habit. Get up, stretch, literally seconds. That becomes doable. Don't just, so you don't try. That's just it. Let's take trying out of there. Do what you will and can do. That's what I mean. And you build on that because once you feel good about, like you just said, you proved it to yourself, you usually start getting that intrinsic motivation. I have yet to meet somebody who hasn't. Even people who say, I've tried every diet in the world, they start doing this and they think that's really slow. But actually, the slower, the better, because it's a foundation and they're going to do it.
Mm, that's really crucial to start it slow, isn't it? And build up on it. Yeah. Um,
So let's say, for example, courage. And I've seen so many of your guests, and they're beautiful, they're wonderful, and they're all walks of life. But let's take it to your business and time management and productivity and all that, right? Um, a lot of women have a lot of things to do. And so they want to prioritize and they want to take care of themselves. So they want to nurture themselves. And I've heard it from, in different guests from that you've had in the past. So what is it that you really want out of it? What's the end goal? Start getting rid of a lot of things. And what's going to support you? Actually, the habits support the routines. So it's not the routine. People think it's, well, I got to get in this routine. Start slower. Get in a habit that actually supports that routine. Because let's say your routine gets thrown off whack, like for a lot of mothers, for a lot of women who work, your routine gets thrown off. And then what? Then everything goes to pot. Then you go through the drive through, you go through the fast food, or you don't, or you procrastinate on something. What if something gets thrown off track, as I call it? If you have your inherent self-care habit or your productivity habit, you've got to do it because it's so innate that even if you do one little tiny, you keep to that one habit, you end up picking what's top priority. And that's okay. The top priority is what's getting done. For example, I live in California. We've had a lot of flooding here in the
mm,
last week. And a lot of people couldn't go to work, and there were a lot of traffic accidents, and their days got thrown off. But if they're already in the habit of doing the minimal, let's say I'm going to do this for my boss. It's the most important thing of the day. How can my one tiny habit of always doing it at this one time, checking in, even if, or, or at 1 o'clock, I always do this. I check the report or something. That's my habit. It's a habit. If it's only 5 minutes, they stuck to that habit. Or let's say it's working out. I can't work out. Everything got thrown off. So instead of eating fast food, it's like, well, it's my habit of at least doing my calisthenics in the morning. And somehow it grounds you. For some people, a habit is meditate. For some people, it's a 1 minute meditation. It just becomes your habit. It's not a chore. It's like, I should meditate. It's like, no, it became their habit. So whatever you pick as your habit, it grounds you and you get better at okay, no matter what happens today, even if it's not the same as every day and it's not as I planned, I know I'm choosing the right priority and I feel good
Mm,
because you're sticking to your most important habits.
yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, totally. It, it, it takes me back to when I was growing up. One of our habits in the morning was to pray. So, we would get up first thing, you open your eyes and you pray first, and then you brush your teeth, and then you
Yeah.
get ready for school. And the same in the evening, you do the same backwards. It's so funny because as we grow, we try to set habits, but we for some reason we either resisting them, or we are not we are looking at the habits in a negative way rather
Like
than
a chore, like a task.
for.
Yeah.
So, what would you say? What would be number one advice for somebody if they would say like I feel like like the lady that was exercising and that like she hated the exercise. What would be like one thing apart from what you said already that you would support? It would support them in creating habits or even changing the habits.
Well, like has what has been working for my clients is the celebrative accountability. Just a quick share out loud and not to hide from it. If they didn't, okay, set yourself up for more doable. Like instead of saying, I'm going to work out 4 times this week, say, I'm going to work out Monday and Tuesday. That's it.
Short.
Monday, Tuesday. That's it. That's it. And share it. Or I'm going to do one thing a day. You can do one thing a day and chain it to something. Again, it goes back to what will you realistically do? What's easy enough?
Yeah.
What's easy? What's easy? People pick too hard. I had somebody who came up to me, okay, I want to try this diet because it helped me lose so many pounds a few years ago. And then she dropped. I'm like, okay. And we hear it time and time again, diets are not forever and they're not sustainable. Let's see why you do what you do and then start picking one little habit. And then if you do that, okay. But let's say a guy who is really stressed. And he's something happened at work. He just had a very stressful day. Somebody said something, he took it the wrong way, or maybe not. Who knows? He's blah, 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 blah. On his way home, he went and got a hamburger and fries and a shake. He knows that those fries and that shake aren't the best choice, but that's not what is on his mind, his psyche. What is on his mind is that he had a stressful day and he wants that comfort food.
Mm,
And his colleague or that report or whatever that was the problem on his mind, not him working out or him eating better. And then you beat yourself up. So what could be a tiny habit, for example? How do you bridge that gap? The habit of before you leave from work, check in. I'm about to go home. I'm going to make healthy choices. Or a habit of right before you go home, you put on your tennis shoes, or right before you go home, you put on your workout clothes. You're more than likely to do something active before you eat dinner or drive through that drive through. With him, it took some time in that, well, if I don't share, then I don't have to do it. I don't have to be responsible. Okay, that's your choice. You're an adult. But if you're going to reward yourself, go ahead and reward yourself, but have a little post-it on that car. Make it up. Make it up. So he had a post-it right where the rear view, where the side mirror is. So he knew that if he went through drive-through, it's like, okay, if I eat this, I'm going to have to make up for it. And then you still have a choice. More often than not, that would just calm him down and he started not going for the comfort food anymore. But if he did, he did. That's fine. But he promised himself, make it up. Like, if I eat this, I have to make up for it. Like, go for a 2-hour hike or whatever. He chose that, by the way. I don't tell people what to do. I ask them, what will you realistically do? What will make you feel like you're going to do it? So fewer times, because that post-it was on the inside of his, the driver's seat. It's on the door. He would just look at it and not go to the drive-through, not go to the fast food and all of that.
It's a reminder about his vision of losing weight, and not get excited, or not get, you know, not go the same way as you would do usually, because when you're stressed, you do want something comfortable. You want to like come home and just put your PJs on or something like that, or go and eat something, stuff yourself up. But it's amazing, like small, tiny habits, how they can support us in real life, in at work, in business, anywhere, really. So that's super
And
powerful.
and the thing is, I read something about a month ago, that said the latest studies, the global studies, were the collect various studies. So then
Mm-hmm.
you put in one meta study, you compare like 5 studies at once. It ranged from 40 to 50%, depending on the study, but on the average, 40%, and I think it's higher, 40% of your day is nothing but a series of habits or results of your habits. Other studies showed 50%. So it's your systems that get you to your goal. It's not your vision or your commitment or the hacks. It's the tiny little habits and your habitual way of thinking that will get you to your goals. Your habits drive your day. Thus, they drive your week. Thus, they drive your quarter. Thus, they drive your future. Thus, they drive your life. Our habits are us.
Perfectly said. So, we are coming to the end of our interview with Ronnie. It has been amazing. And if you have any questions of reaching the goal, and you want to find out what the heck do habits have to do with it, Ronnie is offering one powerful consultation, and we will pop her email down below in the comment section, where this video is going to be placed. And I am super excited for people who will jump in and get support from Ronnie. Thank you so much, Ronnie.
Thank you, Edith. I really appreciate it. And the reason I offer that, because I know I'm for confidentiality purpose, I don't get too detailed. But for you that's watching, and for every person, it's like you have a goal in mind. So let's see, what the heck do my habits have to do with reaching that goal or changing this? So of course it's custom tailored. And you're the leader. You lead me to it. I guide you and I show you how. So this consultation is like, let's look at it. Let's talk about it. You'll be amazed.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming in and telling us and teaching us all about habits.
My pleasure, and thank you.
Thank you.